Hey there, going to give just a little bit of commentary on the Kraken. First off, this model is really cool. It's obviously very substantive. In terms of model selection, I'd say the only thing that could really improve it would be to alter this somehow to make it look like a fantastical creature rather than just a regular old terrestrial octopus. And I don't know what that would be. Maybe putting something on the ends of the tentacles or extra eyes or something. In terms of construction, it wasn't too bad. The legs actually fit on quite nicely. Very minimal of putty work needed for that. And there is a point here where it doesn't quite match up. In fact, there's like a little segment. I think maybe the limb broke off now that I am looking at it. But in any case, and actually that was probably when the assembler was trying to get it to match up here and here. Likely this is like the last thing to go on. So in terms of aesthetics, it's really cool. It looks like it's kind of floating off of the surface here. You can see the beak, which is probably a problematic element there, meaning it's a really cool feature, but how are you going to make it so that it shows? So that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. It's balanced very nicely on the base. It has a great, the model has great movement to it, and for what it is, it's awesome. Assembly, obviously, that's going to be a labor factor for anything where you're trying to get 8 legs to fit on. And also every single one of them could just break off. The obvious way is to have ovoid sockets on there, and I can sketch you out some diagrams for that if you choose to change it up. The other thing is, for models that are like floating, the best thing to do is to not try and make it so that the legs hold them up, but it's to have a rod or something that affixes the model quite solidly to the base. And so without putting the tentacles on, the body already is floating because it's being held up by this rod. Now you could make one of the legs into that rod, but you'd have to obviously change up the model quite a bit for that. So that's really, and then of course, and then all the other limbs you could just put them on and it wouldn't matter if they were supporting or contacting anything. That said, though, so let's say you did create like a rod-like structure in here that ideally goes into a solid rock. Like, you don't want the rod to go in to where the base is very thin, because then nothing really is supporting it. So anyway, if you have a rock structure and there's a rod that goes in it, then that works. Now the other way is to, when you design your model, is to just create an 1/8 inch hole in the rock, an 1/8 inch hole in the model, and then supply it literally with 1/8 inch diameter iron rod, and then you just stick it in both holes, glue it in, and then you can just put on all the other socketed pieces, and you don't have a problem like this where there's 1, 2, 3, 4 points of contact that all have to kind of match up. So long story short, this model is just absolutely begging for trouble. If you're really married to it and you love it, then my suggestions will help you in terms of your design and in terms of customer satisfaction, because let me tell you, people are not going to like to put this model together. Hold on, is there something else? Yeah, so I think that's it. All right, these are going to be ready for pickup very soon.